Business Review, your daily source for the most critical stories in the financial world. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.
The China New Economic Driver Index, which measures the performance of the new economy, jumped 23.4% in 2019 from a year earlier to 322 points, according to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics in China on Monday. As a main aspect of the digital economy and an outstanding form of the new economy, the Internet economy, which is a key engine among the 5 sub-indexes of the New Economic Driver Index, surged 42% to 856.5, contributing 80.5% to the growth of the combined index last year. The country also recorded 34.8 trillion yuan in e-commerce transactions in 2019, up 10.1% from a year earlier. The director of the Bureau's Institute for Statistical Research said the new trade pattern represented by cross-border e-commerce has become a bright spot in foreign trade. The sub-index for innovation-driven development, meanwhile, also rose 15.6% year-on-year to 2014, 204.4. National expenditure on research and development is equivalent to 2.19% of gross domestic product in 2019, 0.05 percentage points higher than the previous year. The other 3 major sub-index for economic vitality, human resources and transformation, and upgrading all increased by 7.4%, 8.3% and 1% respectively from the previous year.
Hong Kong residents prepared for the impact of the new social distancing measures from midnight Tuesday, July 14th, the most stringent in the Asian financial hub since the coronavirus epidemic first broke out. According to the government, 12 types of establishments, including gyms and places of amusement, must shut for a week. Some residents made their way to Hong Kong Disneyland for the last opportunity to visit the iconic park before it closes again after reopening in June. Meanwhile, in Paris, Disneyland welcomed back visitors on Wednesday, July 15th, after a 4-month closure due to the coronavirus outbreak, with face masks and social distancing. Masks were mandatory and advance booking required. Visitors to the park, which has imposed limited capacity, were told to keep a meter away from others, and hundreds of sanitizing gel and hand-washing stations were scattered around. No tickets were sold at the entrance, while playgrounds and makeup workshops remained closed. Walt Disney World also reopened its 2 most popular parks in Orlando on Saturday.
Local investors, motivated by the continuous reduction of the work of fishermen in Gaza Strip due to the naval blockade by Israel, resorted to establishing fish farm projects. Abu Yazan is working on his farm near the Gaza seashore to hatch bream eggs to replace the scarce quantities in local market. Al-Bahar Farm, which includes several adjacent ponds, produces about 30 to 40 tons per year of bream, and it includes a restaurant that serves delicious fish for its customers.
I thought of this project due to the lack of bream fish in the Mediterranean Sea and in Gaza Strip, where a lot of people enjoy this kind of fish. In 2014, when we established this farm, we used to import the bream eggs from Israel, but for 3 years now we depend on ourselves through our labs. We produce 1 million eggs per year. Despite our local fish market in the Gaza Strip, we export our fish to the markets of the West Bank and Israel, and we are now establishing a larger fish farm with more kinds of fish.
When the fish reaches the appropriate sizes for the local market, it is sold at the equivalent of $10 per kilo, about 45 shekels, and is well received. Breamfish lives at a distance of about 12 nautical miles, a distance that Gaza fishermen are prohibited from accessing, forcing Gazan investors to search for alternatives. The production of different kinds of fish is still a goal for many fish farms in Gaza, although breamfish remain to be the #1 option.
We have 65 people working here in this farm, which has 15 pools with 60,000 fish in each pool. Each fish ranges from 350 to 500 kilograms, and every kilogram is sold at 40 shekels, sometimes 35 shekels, according to the economic situation in the Strip.
There are currently 5 fish farms in Gaza Strip. Director of Fisheries in the Ministry of Agriculture in Gaza Strip says that these farms have achieved a remarkable development in terms of technical and scientific forms and are eligible to continue to develop and progress. He explains that fish farming production has increased this year to about 500 tons and is expected to increase more next year.
The amount of fish produced through the fish markets in Gaza Strip in the past years amounts to about 12 tons, which forms a huge percentage for the local market and assists in the export to the West Bank mainly. We seek that the coming years will carry double the production with a variety in the kinds of fish produced.
However, fish farms remain facing several obstacles, most notably the need for an electrical current around the clock, while the Strip suffers from a severe cutoff in electricity, in addition to the difficulties of importing fish seed from abroad. But these projects, despite the obstacles they face, allow good profits for the local investors in Gaza, especially in light of the prospects for the cultivation of more types of fish, as well as it opens a window for operating the labor force. It also highlights that fish farming currently contributes to filling the shortage of the Gaza Strip's fish needs, as it annually requires 10,000 tons, while available marine fishing does not exceed 3,000 tons due to the Israeli restrictions. For KTV2, this is Business Review Program, Yumna Syed, Gaza, Palestine.
The International Monetary Fund said Friday, after concluding an annual Article 4 review of the U.S. economy, the U.S. GDP is expected to contract by 37% in the second quarter year-on-year and 6.6% for 2020 as a whole. According to a concluding statement, the longest economic expansion in U.S. history has been derailed by the unanticipated advent of COVID-19, with the poorest households facing particularly precarious prospects. The statement added the nature of the pandemic has created particularly large strains of labor-intensive, face-to-face services and the unemployment rate among lower-income households that have few financial buffers. Meanwhile, U.S. Federal Reserve said Wednesday economic activity increased in almost all districts, but remained well below where it was prior to the pandemic. The U.S. Ministry of Commerce also estimated the U.S. GDP in the first quarter of 2020 to shrink by 5% of the annualized rate.
This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical stories in the financial world. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.